can you elaborate on the success you all had tonight, tonight's win?
Defense. We played defense. We got stops. We got out in transition. We made shots.
Paul, you guys head out on the road again after this. 13-1 at home, franchise best record, but again, a bit of struggles on the road so far. How do you guys just carry that success in the road? I think it's 6 games in 9 nights for you guys.
1 game at a time. Build off the good habits, learn from the bad, and honestly, just take it 1 game at a time.
Paul here. Melo spoke very glowingly about you and Kawhi's support that you guys showed the other day when you were talking about him. Can you just speak about what it was like to actually see him on the floor tonight, be able to play against him, and kind of how it feels for you guys to all have like that level of camaraderie together as players?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I think, it just shows the level of respect we have for Melo, and, what he's done for this league, who he's been to us in this league. But it was great to share the court with him again. We were out there. We had laughs. We competed. We battled. It felt like old times of having him on the court. But it's great. I think it's great for the league. And, I'm going to always have his support and be happy for him.
Speaking about Melo, obviously you guys shared a relationship. What were some of the things that you guys were able to take away from each other and learn from each other to make you guys better basketball players?
I think my time with Melo was he was the enforcer, really. I mean, when my time with him in Oklahoma, in times with Rocky, he was the one that kind of leveled us and, kept everything positive, smooth sailing. I thought him and Russ did an unbelievable job of that. But he was the big brother. He was the mentor. He was the, he's the one that got me this chain. The list goes on what Melo did for me there. But I think the biggest thing to take away was just his big brother, his, bad nights, the arm around the shoulder, good nights, the encouragement. I mean, he was just a positive influence.
There's a ton of NBA players who have never played with Melo over here that still seem to be really fond of him, and he seems important to the NBA culture. What is it? Is it just his style of play? What is it about him that just kind of sets him apart from other
I think his approach. I grew up, with the Lakers playing Denver Nuggets in that era, and Kobe being my favorite player, and Melo giving Kobe everything he had. That matchup, really what made me the biggest fan of Melo. And then having the first opportunities to play against him, I understood why he's so hard to guard. His relentlessness, how hard he plays, it was never a night off going against Melo. You were sore, you were bruised, you were hurting after playing against Melo. So I think that's what everybody kind of remembers. The vintage Denver and then the New York Knick, Melo. That's what everybody remembers, and I think that's where everybody has a heart for when you think of Melo.
Doc has mentioned that Landry might return on this 6-game trip. How do you envision him fitting in offensively with you guys, especially with his shooting and spacing?
Yeah, not missing a beat. Another guy that spaced the floor, another guy that plays defense. It's a weapon on both ends. That's what we're adding back into our group.
You and Kawhi have both mentioned that you're not a fan of all the narratives surrounding Melo. Do you feel like he's finally getting the credit he deserves, especially after receiving Player of the Week?
Yeah, and it's still, I'm not going to be happy with it because of how they tried to, shoot him down when he first started. I'm not going to be happy now that he's playing well and, they want to be on his side. Like, he's going to have a long season. Let him play, let him hoop. Say what you want when he's finished, but let him hoop. But it's great that he's getting that recognition now when it's all said and done. But I think people just let him play, let him hoop. It's tough regardless when he came back. He'd been out over a year. So it's going to be some ups and downs, but I think you just let Melo hoop.
Paul, you know very well what CJ and Dame can do together in the backcourt. Considering this defense is still learning as it goes right now with not much practice time, I think they missed 2 of their 15. I mean, they made only 2 of their 15 three-pointers tonight. What's that tell you about the capability of this defense, even as it's in short term still learning as it goes?
Yeah, we just have a lot of defenders, a lot of smart defenders. It's one thing to have guys that play defense, but it's another when you got guys that love to play defense and know how to play defense. We just got so many of them out there that, there's an alertness, there's an awareness at all times. Who's the matchups? Who's the hot guys? Who do we want the ball out of? What guys we want the ball out of their hands. We kind of all talk about that throughout a game on matchups and who gets what. So, again, it's just one thing to have, a roster just full of guys that know how to play the defensive end.
Paul, you mentioned that Carmelo gifted you with that chain. What is your relationship like with him off the court?
It's great. It's great. And my relationship goes further than Oklahoma. I really got close with him when we were on the Olympic team, being in Brazil for months. That's where my relationship really got good. But he's, it's great when he was going through his times now. Send him a text here and there, tell him, keep his head up, stay with it. We'll talk again, I'm sure, coming up. But it's a big brother, little brother relationship.
Paul, the other day you said that the offense is still a work in progress because you guys came from different programs. Doc tonight said he felt like it's still a bit of like your turn, my turn, his turn. Do you feel that out on the court? Do you feel the adjustments being made on the court? And why is that, and how do you get better at that, I guess?
I'm sorry, actually, again.
Doc said tonight he felt like it's still like your turn, my turn on offense. How do you make it more of a flow offensively?
I think, again, just chemistry, learning the chemistry. I think right now everybody is in a good way. Like, hey, I just got a good look. I got me a shot. Like, hey, you got a mismatch, you take him. It's been that kind of feel. I think once we get to a point where we're just playing, the ball moves around, the ball hops around, and we show that throughout a game. It's not that every possession we come down and it feels like, someone's getting a shot or has the, mindset of getting a shot that play. It's not necessarily that, but I think everyone's trying to be aggressive. And everybody's trying to find their game. They're trying to find their way into the system. So I think it's more so of that. But once we continue to keep playing, we'll build that chemistry.